My brand has been selected for
Hello, social
NYFW
media world.
2024.
I am coming to you guys not out of desperation, not out of begging. I'm just coming to the conclusion that why I have always been a giver, a supporter, a go-getter is because of a time like this. I just want to start with just telling a little bit of that about my story that I have been working through overcoming. Okay, this particular story relates to my oldest daughter. I lost my oldest daughter. She took sick. She hemorrhaged from the brain in 2017, January of 2017, which was 9 days after she had given birth to my second granddaughter. During that, she remained in a coma for 2 weeks. I prayed when I was instructed to go and pray. I anointed her when I was instructed by my Heavenly Father to go and do so. And there were many times that the doctors said there was nothing that they could do. There was no activity from the brain. The weight of the blood on the brain from the hemorrhage caused the brain stem to separate from the brain. But lo and behold, through it all, I always trusted my Heavenly Father. And on the 14th day, she opened her eyes. The morning of the 14th day, after being unresponsive in a coma for 2 weeks, she opened her eyes. We watched progress, gradual progress with her. We watched gradual progress with her. She survived that, and at a 2 year mark, we're in 2019 now, after a 2 year mark, she had just gotten married and was married for maybe 1 year. And the individual that she married, apparently there was something going on where guardianship was going to be lost because an annual report wasn't submitted on behalf of my daughter's funds that she was awarded from the incident. So the individual came to me, text me in July of 2019 and said, we have to let her go. So I was startled. I couldn't understand what that meant, where the individual was coming from, or anything. Because in May, we all had just sat down with a nurse and they still felt to get rid of her. And he specifically stated, I would never do that. This is her child relating to me. He know that he's married to my daughter, but he would never overstep me to make that type of decision to get rid of my child. So lo and behold, in July, I got that text. So I said, well, we have to get rid of her. How would we do that? And in return, he said, well, there's a white pill that we can give her. We can give it to her and she'll go to sleep and never wake up. So I said, wait a minute now. So I immediately called the nursing home and asked and inquired about it. They said they don't do that. I turned around and I called the state's attorney. They said that that's illegal in the state of Maryland. So all through this, I'm wondering what white pill anyway? Where you getting a white pill that someone could take and never wake up? Like, my God. So, um, that was in July. Then, dealing with court situation and all, I learned that an annual report was supposed to be submitted in August of 2019. So I'm under the assumption that it was a premeditation because in May we agreed that we're going to just leave her be and let her just survive through this, and he would never make that decision to get rid of my child. And then in July, you're telling me that we have to let her go and there's a white pill you could give her. Then in August, I find that there's an annual report that was supposed to be submitted. And then in November, I learned that the guardianship of the individual now is about to be terminated within 30 days of the notice if probable cause is not submitted as to why the annual report was not submitted in August. The letter was dated November 1st, 2019. I get a call at 8:38 approximately the morning of November 6th from that individual telling me that my daughter's on her way to hospice. So I said, he said, no, 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 no. Don't make it about you. It's not about you. So then I ran to the courts and I filed something to stop the move, and they just disregarded me. I said, this guy is trying to kill my daughter for over $600,000. Please, I need to move. Stop. She was doing fine. She began to track me across the room. She began to squeeze our hands. She began to lift her leg. When we go and do her spa days, she would mash her head down so because she didn't want me to lift it up to wash her hair, which everything was just beautiful when she was coming through. So on November 6th, he had to move from the nursing home to hospice to take her 2 feet out for her to pass from starvation. Excuse me. I never saw my daughter again since that day because I could never go look at my child in hospice after he did this. I have my granddaughter that they claim is the cause of my daughter's death. I haven't seen her since she was 2. He deprives me. I have my first granddaughter who will be 19 in May. He turned her against me. I haven't seen her since she was about 14. I went through a hard time. It put me in a dark place. Excuse me. And I'm fighting through it, and I think I'm doing good. 6 months after the loss of her, I took my ex back, who I really loved, but it just wasn't working well. But at that time, I was vulnerable. It was 6 months after I lost my child. He said he changed. He wanted a wife. I married him. And he treated me like dog poop on the bottom of his shoe. I'm a survivor of major depressive disorder with thoughts of suicide and a 2-time survivor of domestic violence. And I really feel I'm doing good. Um,